Hello and welcome. I'm Raziel, and now I want to talk about law and how I go about it. See, when I talk about law, I always use the newest source because it's the most updated, it's the most accurate, it's the one that is sort of grown into. Now, I know a lot of people also go way back when, and one source I rarely use because 40k has changed so much since Rogue Trader is, of course, Rogue Trader. It has changed a lot. And that's kind of a thing. When people start sourcing Rogue Trader as their source, it's like, it's always been like this is how it is. This can blow up in your face. Now, I'm going to be kind of controversial today because I'm going to make an argument from silence, which is a presumption on my part. And it's about female space marines. Now, I don't have an opinion really on female space marines. The law says they don't exist. The law says they don't exist. I'm actually okay with that. That's no issue to me. If the law says that, that's what the law says, and I'm okay. That's exactly how it is. So there's no female space marines. And that's it. That's all I need to say about that. However, I am going to go back to Rogue Trader. I'm going to read from Rogue Trader as well, just to kind of prove my point why you shouldn't use Rogue Trader as a source material. And for this, I'm going to use female space marines as my sort of baseline. But if you're going to say, oh, it's always been that way since Rogue Trader, then you're going to start having to make an argument for female space marines at the same time. Again, the law says they don't exist. I'm fine with that. That's exactly how the law is. I have no issues, okay? The law says no female space marines. But my point is, you can't use Rogue Trader as your source and argue against something else because something's always been, and you don't like the changes. All right? I'm actually going to read from Rogue Trader, and this is from the rulebook. The Legions Astartes is the official title of a warrior organization, more commonly known as the Space Marines. It is the most powerful and most feared fighting arm in the Imperium. Most of its troopers are recruited from the Feral Planet, where traditional warrior castes compete for the honor of becoming a warrior of the gods. Because the Feral Planets are rough, primitive, and untamed, their inhabitants make excellent fighting material for true aggression and psychotic killer instinct. However, few recruits can best the murderous followers of the city scum that roam the darkest pits of the hive worlds, driven to extremes of insanity by the colossal pressures of a hive world living. These merciless killers are often ignored by authorities. Indeed, their warrens are so fast that it would be impractical to eradicate them completely. They make ideal space marines, and whole gangs of city scum are sometimes hunted and captured for this purpose. Some recruits come from the civilized areas of the Imperium, but not very many. Young recruits are subjected to many hours of intensive training and indoctrination, leading to physical and mental changes. Their bodies are toughened by biochem, and their resolve is hardened by psychosurgery. A special black plastic carapace is merged with their natural flesh, forming a sort of identity tag as well as a permanent protection. All this preparation is intended to turn the prospective Marine into a disciplined killer, or at least a controllable one. The Space Marines differ from the ordinary army in many respects. Its organizational base and mode of operation are totally different. The basic unit, called a chapter, is led by an Imperial commander. Each chapter is like a small army in itself. And though it contains only 1,000 fighting Marines, and the chapter has fighting potential of many times that number of ordinary troops, chapters have their own uniforms, transport, non-combatant staff, etc., and are all fully capable of travelling to their destination using their own spacecraft. Because they are mobile, the Space Marines are usually the first troops to arrive at a scene of conflict, and they are used to mount strikes, raids, and surprise attacks. Their reputation for savage ferocity and complete lack of mercy has earned them the nickname the Angels of Death. Each chapter has a home base, to which an imperial planet or possibly deserted moon or asteroid. Some chapters go to great lengths to keep the location of their home base a secret, whilst others are quite open. The preferred location is an imperial planet, where the chapter's leader will usually make a bargain with the planet's governor, paying a tithe in return for being allowed to build and occupy their own fortress. Governors often appreciate having a marine chapter right on the doorstep. It often discourages unwelcome visitors. Now, like I said, this is an argument from silence. It does not mention any gendered pronoun in that. There's no him or her or, any of that. No gendered pronouns, blah, 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 whatever, yeah? So it's not even mentioned that they're only male. And again, this is an argument from silence, and though, if you were to say, using this source, Rogue Trader, and you could say that they're only male, you're making exactly the same argument from silence. You're saying it doesn't specifically say there's female, they're not all male, but we're going to say they're all male. I know, again, later, second edition past, change that, that's fine. Okay? Organisation. Now, there's a reason I'm bringing this up, because I've got to talk about the Warriors of the Imperium next, and using organisation. Marines belonging to the same chapter are called battle brothers or battle kin. That each chapter comprises of administrative staff, maintenance teams, transport teams, and 1,000 Space Marines. Each chapter is led by a veteran Marine with the rank of Imperial Commander. The warriors themselves are divided into fighting squads of 10 troopers, each led by a sergeant. 10 such squads make up a company led by a captain. Non-combatant staff, 10 squads. Where was I? 10 non-combatant scraps. Where's my place? Perform all the support roles and organize accordingly into mechanics, spacecraft crew, etc. Each chapter has its own associated astropaths and navigators. Medical and communication officers are organized at chapter level, but operate as individuals, battlefield corresponding to minor heroes. Each chapter would have 4 and 8 medical officers and communication officers. Right. So that is basically how it's set up. Now, the reason I brought up the organisation, but again, it's battle brothers or battle kin. Having this very much direct difference between using a gendered pronoun and something that's non-gendered, i.e. kin, shows that, once again, you could say there's always been female Space Marines, because, they have made the difference between battle brother and battle kin, saying they both exist, and one is very much gendered and the other one isn't. Now, just to kind of add a bit more context to this, again, this is why I don't use Rogue Trader as a source, because, there are no female Space Marines. Warriors of the Army, represented the Imperial Army. Organisation. Warriors are organised into just 10 squads of 10 men, including a special weapon trooper and a sergeant. Each 10 such squads comprise a company led by a captain. Any number of companies can be combined to make an army, approximately 100 being about average. So, 10,000 troops. Ancillary non-combatant staff are integral to each company, and each army has a complement of coordinating non-combatant staff. Additional officers forming intermediate levels of command are included as required. The army leader would be an Imperial commander, and he and his personal staff, again, there is a reason, anyway, get back to that in a second, would usually be appointed from the ranks of the priesthood. The disposition, supply, and command of Imperial armies lies totally within the hands of the administratum, forming a further tool of all-powerful priesthood. Non-combatant staff include a number of astropaths, maintenance crews, and such like, but no spacecraft crews. Armies never have their own interstellar spaceships, unlike Marines, and rely totally on the fleet for transport. It is a deliberate policy of the priesthood aimed at curbing the individual power of army commanders and discouraging potential risks. Now, sorry for me all stuttering over. Notice how, when it came to the Warriors of the Army, the Imperial, it is very much a gendered statement. It says 10 men, the Imperial commander, he and his. It's very much male. See, there's the context within Rogue Trader to say, yes, female Space Marines are viable. Again, they are not, because the law has changed since then. And if you're going to go back to Rogue Trader as your source, then, it's always been this way. You go, so female Space Marines have always been there. Just because they haven't had models or make them, they just wrote their law basically as a non-gendered army. They are both male and female. Once again, battle brothers and battle kin. There's your argument, and that's the problem. This is why you shouldn't use Rogue Trader as a source for your law or your discussions, because it can be used against you, because law changes. The law changes all the time. And sometimes there's retcons. There's been plenty of retcons. Some I really despise, such as the fight between the Grey Knights and the Space Wolves after Armageddon. It supposedly never happened, and then they changed it, and then they made it happen, because it was basically just showed the Space Wolves to be absolutely barbaric rather than being half sensible. And there's also Mortaring, which I'm not a fan of. Originally, he was like, I don't want to go to Nurgle. And Nurgle goes, well, I'm just going to kill all your legions. If you don't turn to me, you're going to watch them die slowly. And then he says, okay, don't kill them. Kill them. He goes, no, I just said I wouldn't kill them. And then he, of course, makes Death Guard. And, of course, the death of Aldrad Ulthuan, which got retconned so Avalon can have a win. Now, the argument, again, is if you're going to use Rogue Trader, make sure you read Rogue Trader. Make sure that if someone goes, oh, I want female Space Marines, you go, well, it's not against the law. Well, it's in Rogue Trader. And you can't argue against it. Yes, it's an argument from silence, and I agree it is, but so is saying that, or if you're going to use Rogue Trader as a source for saying all Space Marines are male, yeah, same argument. It's an argument from silence, because it doesn't specifically say all Space Marines are male. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, and I'll catch you later. Anyway, have a good day. If you want to save money on your wargaming and everything else, go to Wayland Games down below. They are really cool, and they save up to 20% on your wargaming and free delivery after £20. There is also, what's it called? It's also Forbidden Planet for comics, DVDs, mangas, etc. And there is, what else there is? My merchandise, keep going that, and Skyforge, never forget Skyforge, good friend of mine, and finally Patreon because business. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.